Howdy, folks. Welcome to this week's Ag Report. So this week, we're going to talk about kind of what's going on. Fall is in the air. Now, I know, you out-of-state folks, you'll be like, well, it's still 90 degrees. That's not fall. But hey, we've been through an epic drought. We've had 40 days or so over 100 degrees. So when we wake up and it's only, 75 and the high for the day only gets up to say 94, 95, we're pretty excited about that. We're almost breaking the sweaters out. So, as we have always talked about in agriculture, it's thinking ahead. It's always looking ahead and planning ahead. And so you may be seeing field work going on and plows of different shapes and sizes running around the roads, while you're trying to go to school or what have you. And just going to give you a little heads up of kind of what's going on, what's going through our minds. So it's fall tillage time, I guess you would say. A lot of different things going on. Corn, is done. About the only crop that's left in the field is cotton. A lot of cotton being stripped right now. Not making very good because of the drought, but they're having to go through the process of harvest anyways. So that is going on. You're going to see some cotton machinery moving around the fields, but you're going to see lots and lots of plowing. Now, one thing that's going on is we're getting the fields ready for fall planting. That mostly is going to be fall wheat and be planted, around October. But for our livestock guys, because we've been through a bad drought, because hay is very, very short supply, corn stalks are about the only thing that you could get bought, and they're very expensive. They're going to be trying to plant some fall grazing. So that could be oats, that could be wheat. That'll generally try to get in the ground the first part of September by mid-September. Now, the reason that you want to try and get that in early in September is we need to try and get some growth on it before it goes dormant sometime in November when the cold weather hits. So you're trying to plant a little early. You're trying to get some growth out of it so that those animals have something to eat on. Now, when you're planting it for harvest, you don't want that. You want just a little bit of growth on it, but you don't want it to get too big before it goes dormant, because then the freeze can kind of bite it back and that kind of stuff. Now, if maybe you're one of the ones, planting some oats or some wheat for the first time, some things to kind of watch out for. We still can get, pretty hot in September. We do have some moisture in the ground. So if you sow it into some moisture, it's probably going to come up. One problem that can arise is it can sprout and die, meaning it can sprout up because you got that moisture. If we go through another extended period without any rainfall, then it can die on you. So that's a risk. Nothing really that you can change there. We don't have any irrigation in this part of North Texas, so it's not like you can turn the water on. It's whatever the good Lord gives us in rainfall. Now, something you can do something about, army worms. They are something that we're seeing around a little bit. They love fall planted wheat. They love that tender wheat as it is spiking out of the ground. So keep an eye on those. If you see some moths, you're probably going to have some army worms shortly thereafter. Remember, you can spray for those. You might be getting your sprayer ready or lining up somebody that can do it for you, because you're probably going to need to do it a cycle of 2 times. You have to break the generation growth of those worms. One spraying does not generally break that cycle, because you're always going to have some mature adult worms, and then you're going to have some that are just hatching out or immature. So it generally takes 2 sprayings to look at that. But consult with your crop advisor, consult with Mark Arnold at the Extension Service. He can make recommendations on that and products that would be good to use for that. And then, like always, lots of big equipment moving up and down these roads. Just yesterday, it just so happened that me and my neighbor were cultivating at the same time and got through at the same time. And he was coming this way on the road and I was going that way on the road. And anyways, we passed each other without any trouble, but it did kind of make me, smile and think of what were the other cars thinking behind each of us, seeing these two big tractors coming down the road head on in there. So be patient with us. We're trying to move around. The equipment is very cumbersome, so it's not agile, it's not quick. It does not like getting off into the ditch. It will tear up a lot of stuff in a hurry. So if you ever wonder why don't they just get off in the ditch and get out of the way and let us around? Well, that stuff's very expensive. And a lot of times there's not a lot of ground clearance. So when you do get off that road and get over into a deep ditch or something like that, you can hang shanks and tear up a lot of stuff in a hurry. So just a little back thought of, why they don't move around too quickly and stuff. And one last little tidbit, if you happen to be behind us and you think, well, why in the world did he all of a sudden kind of, swerve back out into the middle of the road? Well, remember, most of these cultivators and stuff are very tall. So there could be low-lying branches that we're trying to avoid that are over on the side, trying not to hang those. There's also telephone lines that, yes, I'm talking about landlines, not cell phones. The wires that used to come into the house, some of those are hanging a little bit low, and we may be trying to avoid that. And then mailboxes, mailboxes are right there on the edge of the road. And sometimes we have to kind of swerve around some of those and guardrails. So that's what's going through our mind, when we're going down the road, some of the things that we're looking out for. And so hopefully that kind of gives you an idea when you're behind us, wondering why we're kind of maneuvering the way that we're maneuvering around things. It may be some things that you're not thinking about. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this ag report, a little tidbit of what's going on out in the country. Everybody is busy. We finally got some moisture in the ground. That helps a whole lot with fall tillage, trying to get some grain planted, hopefully, putting out some fertilizer and everything like that. Fertilizer is still high as a tree, but that's a conversation for another episode. Y'all take care now.